Hello, my wonderful people. It's yet another time again to drop another amazing content. And thank you for all my followers. Thank you for being part of the family, the Pip Kings Academy family. Thank you for being in the Telegram channel. Thank you for those in the VIP. I have a wonderful time with them. And even for those who've not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're waiting for, because the content in this channel is amazing. I've given my whole. I do not hold anything back. So anything that I think is precious and worthy for my audience, I always share, okay? So please feel free to subscribe, feel free to share, feel free to comment. Feel free to join our Telegram channel. Feel free to even join the VIP, because in the VIP you will get more solid strategies and content, but more so you will get one-on-one time with me, okay? Because we have a VIP channel where we get in touch with everybody who is experiencing any issue with the strategies that have been released in the VIP. And so we get one-on-one mentorship in the VIP, okay? So please feel free to join the Telegram channel. And more so, if you are able to join the VIP, I would really recommend you to do that. The VIP only goes for $60. And it includes one-on-one time and one-on-one time with me, and the like 3 or 4 more solid strategies that are in the VIP. Also, you will get to join the VIP channel. I don't share signals. Please let that be clear. I don't share signals, but I trade with my VIP whenever I get some time, okay? Because I'm not a full-time trader. I do trade when I get time. So I trade with them. I share signals whenever I get time to check the market and do 1, 2, 3. But yeah, that doesn't mean you don't get time with me, okay? That doesn't mean you don't get a personal time with me. So, but I'm a mentor, so I don't give signals, but I'm a mentor. It is my joy to see you on your feet, because I want to see you trade even when I'm not online, okay? So it's very important, because getting signals is one thing and being an independent trader is another thing. And I love people who are on their feet, okay? I give you my whole and I expect you to duplicate those results. So that's it. So today we are going again to see another strategy. Very simple, like you see on my main chart, there is nothing on the main chart. And then on my indicator window, I've used RSI 9, okay? RSI 9. I think you can see the settings right here. Let me pick an arrow. This, you can see them, the settings there. So there's RSI 9, okay? Trying to pick my arrow. My RSI 9. And then there is MACD 1226 1. Instead of 9, the default settings is always 1226 9, but in this I've changed the settings to be 1226 1, okay? 1226 1. So, and I've changed the colors of the MACD. The one that shows the bars, I've put it same as background color. So it is only the indicator line of the MACD that we are using, this black line. Okay, let me check the settings. So it is this window. This is the setting for the RSI. I don't need the labels, so you can ignore that. I'm not using the labels. and these are the settings for the MACD. Oh yeah, I apply to weighted close. So first MA12, slow MA26, MACD SMA1, apply to weighted close. And then the styles main is same as background, this one, and probably 1 pixel. And then the signal is what I'm using. Okay, so we go back to our main chart. So this strategy today is so simple, as you can see, and it is either completely to zoom level 0 or zoom level 1 or zoom level 2, but it works best on zoom level 1. Okay, so how does it work? Put in mind that this black line is our MACD. Okay, so anytime our RSI 9, the red line, is above our MACD, it means the market can be on a strong trend. Okay, anytime we are above the MACD, there is a possibility we are on a strong trend. So please try to ignore or even don't try to catch spikes around this area where our RSI is above the MACD. Okay, but if we spike and get into the MACD, okay, and then come and touch the MACD line and spike, then that has given you an okay to sell like immediately. Okay, so if the MACD line engulfs us, like we reach the MACD line and we spike and we go back, please buy. So the first spike is this one. So if it is a small spike, please buy and buy it big. And you see more spikes followed. Okay, more spikes followed. So the main thing here is that let your first spike let your first spike here be small to give you a signal that we are using this MACD line as a resistance. So if the spike from the MACD level is small, then buy immediately. Okay, place a trade immediately. There are moments you will need to wait, like see from this end here, it was coming before it touches its spikes, and then the third one came and passed across. So if this peak and this peak are near each other, then it shows that our spiking spree is not very strong. Yes, we will catch one spike, but it is not very strong, yeah, because they are almost near each other. And you see the third one, instead of coming to spike, in fact, by the time it formed a curve, our MACD formed a curve here, even before our RSI crossed, it had shown you that we've broken the trend of spiking. You see, this curve here, it started curving before our RSI crossed this line. Okay, so by this time, it was supposed to have shown you if a spike is to happen, a spike will happen in such incidents like we are still facing up. Okay, we are still facing up before this curve happens. So spikes will always be like continuation of trend. But the moment this curve here starts forming, then you know that the spikes have stopped. The spikes have stopped until maybe further notice. So you see, it passed here and then started going, spikes again, but this time round our curve was still facing up. Like this peak here was shorter than this, so it was giving you an indication of not a continuation of trend, but we are looking way to go up. So we come and pass, and then we cross the MACD. By the time we are coming to retest the second time, now our massive spikes come. Okay, so always also see how the spikes tend to behave. like around this area. Of course, on our main chart, it was this, this, and this. No, it was not plus this. This was outside. So it is these two. Yeah, you caught them, but still they were small compared to what you got here. Okay, compared to what you got here. So most of the time you will get sweet spikes if and when our peak here is way almost like above level, because you see this is like level 37, so it should be like around 3/4 way to the top. Okay, remember this is boom, so we are coming from level 0 going up. So good spikes will come around area 25. Okay, good spikes will come around area 25, not here. This was around area 69 when the trend is already tired. Okay, when the trend is already tired, but this here was around area 25. Okay, when the trend is still very fresh and strong. So, and it spiked all the way. Okay, so immediately we cross, don't even think of catching spikes. Okay, I would so much wish to tell you you can scalp, but this is not for today. I will include something else for scalping so that I can give you how you can scalp using this strategy. So for today, let us just catch spikes. So, but immediately it crosses this, just leave spikes alone. Leave spikes alone. Okay. Come. See here again. So our MACD comes and touches on top, like reaches level 0. Not MACD actually, RSI. Our RSI comes and reaches level 0 here, spikes. The second one that comes, when it touched, it spike. Okay, so these two, this one and this one, you got them. Okay, here we come and spike, we go above it. Okay, and then we start spiking. So they are a bit smaller. Yes, they are a bit smaller because generally at this time you see even our trend is so strong. Our trend is so strong. That is why you see, yes, our strategy is still working, but they are a bit smaller. Okay, they are a bit smaller. Okay, we continue. Now check again here. When this peak, and this peak are on the same line, like it is not showing us like we were on, as much as we were on very strong uptrend on our chart, but it tells you that we've reached the end of our, the strength of our trend is coming to an end. Okay, the strength of our trend is coming to an end. So here we spike one, cross. As we are coming back, you can place as from here. So you will be on negative a bit, but it will go in your favor as long as these peaks were on the same line. So the strength of the trend had already been broken. And especially because of seeing these two, this and this on the same level. Okay, so the strength of the trend had already been broken. We are no longer on a very strong downtrend. Okay, so you must have gotten this spike and even this other spike. As much as we crossed, but still we were in an area where it is spiking zone. Okay, but since, yes, you might have gotten this or missed this, but since it spiked and it didn't cross the black line, like we were contained within the black line, then don't try to catch spikes again. Okay, Don't try to catch spikes. So it is okay to miss all those spikes. It is okay to miss them. Come and see again here. Spikes does not cross, goes up a bit, spikes on the same level again. Yeah. So by the time we come and retest again, here, a bit and a massive spike. As long as these two peak on the same level, yeah, and it spiked and went inside. So of course we could have placed our trade around this point. So you are negative a bit, but it spiked a massive one on your favor, followed by 3 others. You might have missed this because it was already out of our MACD, yeah, but you got this massive spike, this one here. Okay, so small spike, another spike here. So you must have gotten this spike here, and then as it came out, as long as this cap has formed, this one, as long as the cap has formed, don't place trade here. Don't place trade when you see the MACD is straight like this. But if it started bending like this, don't place that trade. Okay, so as long as we are outside, no trades until when we break through it, as it was trying to come up again. So there's one spike here, and then immediately we crossed. So don't even try to place any more trade. We are going out. And then here, now something else. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's okay. This peak and this peak, as much as they are not on a straight line, but they are not very far. Okay, so after it had spiked the first one, yet the peaks were not very far. I mean, like not very distant to show you that it was a strong trend. And while that is happening on our MACD, check our main chart, same point, spiking on the same point. Okay, so when this first spike came from here to here, spiking on the same point, please catch these other spikes. No excuse for that. Catch the other spikes as long as they've spiked on the same zone. Okay, we continue. So here after crossover, don't try to catch other spikes. And then this peak again and this other one. Okay, so first spike, others follow. Okay, something else, you see that it spikes, it didn't cross, but it spiked on our favor. I'm trying to show you this peak here. So we didn't cross, but it spiked on our favor. Okay, so even if you had placed it here, you are on negative a bit, but yeah, after it's formed this cap, I wouldn't recommend you to place the trade, but of course you had gotten these other spikes. Okay, so this one here again, this one here again after the first spike, the second one, and this one. Okay, so all this was in line with the MACD itself. But when such happen, I would tend to ignore unless there is a divergence or the peaks are on the same level. I would tend to ignore. I wouldn't even try to catch this spike here, you know, because most trends, when they are strong, it goes in this setup. Okay? But as long as the first spike has come and we were contained, like we didn't cross over, the second one will always come. So the second one came, yeah, the second one came, and the third one came, and then we crossed, came all the way, another spike that we had not planned for, okay, and then another spike. Now come and see what happens here. We follow the MACD and the RSI are all on the same line. You see, it's not crossing. So anytime you find the MACD, like this area again, where the MACD is following the RSI, it's not crossing, but they are going hand in hand. You can be so confident that it will spike. It won't go for long. Yeah. So it's the same case. But be keen, like this one has crossed, there's some space. This one has crossed, there's some space. But this one is hand in hand. The MACD and the RSI. Okay. The MACD and the RSI are both together. No one is crossing the other. So in such a setup, you are so sure it will spike. So I would place my trade, especially around this area, around that area. Why I would have placed around that area? Because of this peak here. Okay, because of that peak, so I would have placed my trade around that area. After noticing that there is no crossover, the MACD and the RSI are aligned together. It's not going to cross. So I would for sure have placed around that peak. Okay, let's see what happened. Do you see? Oh my God. Massive spikes. Massive spikes. So when you see, I'm trying to pick my arrow and it is misbehaving. So you see this peak, you see this peak and this peak. Like the MACD is not crossing and then it spikes. The MACD is not crossing and then it spikes. So this one was so massive. So massive. So immediately it crossed. I would not have mind. But here again it crosses over and then there are spikes and then it starts coming. But now check this one. What I meant is something like this. When it has crossed like this, I don't mind much. But if they are aligned together, no line is crossing the other, then you know that it will spike. Okay, so you see this one again here. It crossed. So I wouldn't mind much. Yeah, but another spike again, another spike again. Another spike again. Yeah, so you might miss this because you don't know where it will spike, but try to time it next to the MACD, like here or like here. Yeah, so when next to, as long as there is one spike that has come after we've crossed the MACD, 2 or 3 more spikes will come. So like here, no, I mean like here. Okay, another one here that spikes. It didn't cross. This next one, this one, it didn't cross. It didn't cross and it spiked. Yeah, and you see 3 more spikes. 3 more spikes. And then a crossover. 1 spike, crossover. 1 spike, crossover. So when you see something like this, I know this is a bit like almost on the same level. Yeah. But when you see like it is struggling going in and out of the MACD, then it is an indication that the trend could be a bit stronger. In fact, I don't love this, like when the MACD is almost like on the same level on top. I always love it when it is slanting. Like, I don't know how I can put it. Like here. Like the previous peak is lower than the other one. Sorry. Okay, let's continue. I'll try to explain later. You see? So our MACD is still going up all the way from here, going up, going up. Like there is no place you've seen the MACD try to face down. So it's all going up. So in such incidences, try to avoid until when we come into our into these zones. Like we break the MACD, as we try to go back, we spike again. Then from there, catch your spikes. Yeah, we break the MACD. As we try to come back, we spike again. Yet we are around area 0 to 25 for booms and area 75 to 100 for crashes. What I mean is this area. Okay, so we are between 0 to 25. As long as the second spike will come, which here has been used as a resistance, then more spikes will be coming. So you can even choose to ignore all this in between spikes and only pick this kind of setups where you can choose to put the levels. Okay, let's just do it practically. Sorry, let's do it practically. Oh, what is happening? This here. Let me put it on the MACD. 79, 75, 0. No, I wouldn't want to put 50. Let me put 25. 25. And then I delete all these others. I delete the others. Let me use color blue, 2 pixel. Delete. So I've only input 2 levels. Done. So there we go. Now this even makes it much more easier. So if I'm trying to pick my arrow and it's misbehaving. Okay, let me just pick this other one. So if this kind of setup is happening when we are above that line, we try to come back onto our MACD and it spikes. Then we are on a spiking spree. Okay. We try to come back and we spike. Same will apply for crashes. It has to happen around this area. Okay. So we continue. And why this will sift all fake signals is that sometimes like for the 1000s, you will find like this moving average, not moving average, this RSI will be forming this kind of setups like 3 or 4 before it now starts spiking consecutively. So the MACD will act as a sift. If it doesn't spike on your MACD, then know that it is trend continuation. Okay, if it doesn't spike on the MACD, know that it is trend continuation. Okay. So we continue. You see this setup, as much as we had somehow reached the peak, but it was small. So anyway, our MACD was not retested around area 15 and 25. So I would ignore that. Yep. Same to this, it didn't really reach the peak. Same to this, no clear setup. Same to this, no clear setup. But of course, now you understand what I'm talking about, okay? I'm trying to pick my arrow and it is misbehaving. Let me just ignore that. Now, come and see the setup here. It doesn't cross, it spikes. The second one comes, it doesn't cross, it spikes. As much as this peak is higher than this, so even if after your first spike here you had entered your trade, let's say here, and then it kept on dragging you coming back, and then maybe before it spiked again when it touched the MACD, maybe you entered, it spiked again on you and it didn't recover your first trade, then it comes the third time. So by the time it was touching the third time, there was a massive spike that put all your trades in profit, as long as it didn't cross the MACD. Okay, as long as it didn't cross the MACD. You see, so if you entered after your first spike here thinking it will come continuously, then it put you on negative. The second spike came here, but your first trade was still on negative, and probably you had placed another trade here. So by the time this third trade was coming, it put both this and this trade in profit. Yeah, it put both trades in profit, as long as you didn't cross your MACD. Okay, as long as you didn't cross your MACD. Okay, here is another one. It didn't cross the MACD, what I was explaining earlier. Here, it didn't cross the MACD. So in such a setup, where would I place my trade? I would place my trade on this peak here. So exact level there. Let me pick a line. Let me pick a line and draw around there. Yeah. Can you see? Wow. So exact. So exact. It didn't drag me for long. As long as, and especially what you are keen about, let's drag back. What you are keen about is the MACD and the RSI. They didn't cross. This one here. They didn't cross. So when they don't cross, what I will do, I'll come and use the previous peak here and place my trade, because I know it won't go for long. Yeah, it won't go for long. At some point it has to spike. And you see what happened. Immediately after that, we ripped our pips. So sweet. So sweet. Yeah. So the other one was a ranging market all through. Here is another setup. Here is another setup. Here is another setup. the MACD didn't cross and it spiked. The MACD didn't cross and it spiked. Okay. So this was still other opportunities that it was, as long as the first one here had shown you that we are going to use the MACD, be so sure other three spikes will be coming as long as it's touching spike. Okay. All this, as much as it was very far from us, but it was in MACD as resistances. Yeah. I'm seeing here the MACD and the RSI met on the same point, as much as they were not together, but they came and met here and it spiked. Amazing. They came and met and it spiked. Anyway, I wouldn't have placed that trade. It was not like a very right setup. Yeah. Now another setup is coming up. You see there? We've crossed a bit, another small spike. So the third one must be contained. I think you saw. So here, we've reached our peak, a spike, we cross over. Coming back a bit, we crossed another small spike. So there must have been a third time to retest that level. And from there, I'm so sure, as much as it was trend continuation, but at least it didn't put you in loss. So this spike here was a sure one. So even if we had waited for more, by the time we crossed there, we should have closed our trade. Yeah. So that it doesn't drag us for long. So we continued. This peak, and this peak were like going up parallel. But I wouldn't have tried even to get a spike around that area because it was not giving me any indication. All that is a trending market. You see the way it's behaving in a trending market. As long as it is outside of your MACD, don't even try to catch the spikes. See? As long as the first spike has come, and then another one, know that another one will come, especially using this point as resistance. A crossover and another. Now this time round, because it was the second time, like this was the first time of the spikes, so this second time, the moment it crossed, see here, and then very massive spikes. As long as the MACD has covered us, like we are inside the MACD, and one spike has come, so as it is going to retest, this was the second time because the first time it had happened here. And why I'm saying first time is because this peak was lower than this. Okay, it was not in like this one is the trend has been broken completely. This one was more of still a bit of some strong trend. So when the trend is a bit strong, the spikes will come but not so sweet. Okay, the spikes will come but not so sweet. But on the second leg, which is now this one, the spikes will be very sweet from this point. Okay, so since this point was lower than this here, like this was higher, no, the opposite, this was lower, this was higher, so it was giving you room, like we will not reach this peak, but we will start spiking from here. So the first spike comes, as it is coming to retest the MACD, other massive spikes. Okay, so we cross over, no more spikes here. All this is a trending market. Trending market. Yeah. Let me take back. You see here, as long as you get this peak is a bit higher than this, that is to show you that the trend is not going up. It is not a very strong trend. Okay. As long as this peak is not higher than this. And you see what happened after that. More spikes. More spikes. All this. And then a ranging market. Check this setup again. We didn't cross. We were along with our MACD, we didn't cross. Yeah. So I told you if it doesn't cross, where do I place my former peak? Which was here. My former peak. And can you see? After that, the spikes came. As long as it doesn't cross. As long as it doesn't cross the MACD. They were both together. So I used the former peak. And the spike came. So this one it had crossed. So I would tend to ignore. And you see it went up for some time. And a spike came, but it was not a massive one. All this is an uptrend. So this is another one that it didn't cross. Do you see? It didn't cross. You see here? It didn't cross. So in such setup, use the former. Use the former pick. And for sure, it must spike. And it came even 2 massive spikes. Yeah. We continue trending market. This kind of setup, as long as the RSI is outside, the MACD is inside. Try to avoid. Don't even try to place trade. Try to avoid. Until at least when that strength is broken. Okay? Until at least when that strength is broken. Trending market. Every trending market, the MACD will always be outside. The RSI, I mean, the RSI is the red one, will always be outside. And the MACD is the black one, is inside. So if our RSI is covering the MACD, try to be a bit sensitive. Don't try to catch spikes. Okay. So here, first spike happens. We come into the MACD. Second spike happens. So after these two, for sure there was a third one. After the two come, you for sure know that a third one will come. Okay. And from there, in fact, the trend has been broken. So check here. So it comes and crosses a bit. Let's see how. Yeah, we cross a bit. We cross a bit. But we reach level 25 and spikes start raining. And now we went all the way. Yeah. So even if you had missed the first spike, but for sure from the second onwards. Yeah. So what you can do, you can add a TDI to this. And I'm so sure this second spike, this one here, I'm so sure this second spike was on the market baseline. I'm so sure about that. I tell you, my all-time indicator is a TDI. So I'm so sure this happened on the market baseline. And you see the spikes that came. Okay. So after this point, I wouldn't try to, not even after this point, I wouldn't try to catch any spike. But as long as it's not, you see, as long as we don't, sorry, I've lost that. Oh my God, now where will I go? But anyway, I think you people have understood what I was trying to explain. All this, you see, they are all contained. All contained. And especially if we come from around area 25 and then we start spiking and we are contained, then know that the spikes will be massive. And also come and see, the spikes came on the same area. So the first spike comes, the second spike comes, the third spike comes, it is a big spike, but the fourth one now comes in series. Yeah, so 4 spikes on the same spot, 4 spikes on the same spot. Then from there, very great, more spikes. Yeah, so it also likewise applies to boom. You see, the same thing. As long as the first one came and we are contained in the second, then other spikes will always follow. Okay, same all through. Okay, so let's check a look at boom. Let's check boom 1000, because I know boom 1000 is always very stretchy. This is what I was trying to explain. You see this kind of setup where we spike and we come and cross the MACD successfully. We don't spike again. So this is to really sift all the fake signals. Sometimes we tend to think that our trend has been broken, yet it is still continuing. So you see the peak comes, spikes, comes, crosses again, and then spikes after a very long stretch. So with this kind of setup, as long as it's crossed our MACD, you even don't try to catch spike, because you don't know it will go up to which level. You see? But when it starts spiking, it will be massive. You see, all this now, it was contained and the spikes were coming. You see, it was contained and our spikes were coming. Not like this point here. Not like this point here. After it had crossed, we didn't try to catch any spikes, and it trended for so long. It trended for so long. Okay, you see the difference. I think you now understand the difference. So this one here, we are contained and spikes are coming. This one here, we are contained and spikes are coming. Another one here, we are contained and spikes are coming. Another one here, we are contained and spikes are coming. This one here, we could have been a bit out of the way because we had already crossed, so I wouldn't have mind. So maybe I could have missed, yes. But come and check all these others. Were contained. Were contained, and there were massive spikes. Massive spikes. So as long as our MACD is covering us, so within this area, spikes will always come. As long as we don't cross the MACD, spikes will always come. Okay, so you see, this one here crossed a bit. I would not have tried catching this spike, so I know I would have missed that. All these others, we were contained. This one, we were out, so I would not have tried to catch. But this one, we were contained. This one, we were contained, we didn't cross. This one, we were contained, we didn't cross. Yeah. This one's here, I wouldn't even have tried. I wouldn't have tried. This one's here. So after this first massive spike that brought us into the MACD, the second one comes and retests a small spike, but the third one crosses over. So I would not have tried to catch this. Yeah, it was a massive one, yes, but I wouldn't have really, because it was not aligning with our strategy. Yeah. So that's it for today, guys. This is boom. Let's check crash, which is the opposite direction, crash 1000. So crash is it's from top, like this one here, this one here. A nice setup. Yeah. So anytime we cross, I wouldn't try. So here we've crossed, I can't try. Here we've crossed, I wouldn't mind. As long as it's not aligning, this one here, see this here. Another tip is, you see the way even our MACD here was like on a straight line. Like on a straight line, the MACD itself. So you are so sure by the time we are coming to touch the MACD, there must be spikes. Yeah, there must be spikes, and it had to be massive. So sweet, so sweet. Okay, so here, as long as we've crossed, I can't even try. And you see, this is even a trending market. So this kind of setup will sift all the fake signals for you. It will sift all the signals for you. So that's it for this video, guys. God bless you, and please share, like, comment, subscribe, and support our channel. Support our channel by inviting other people. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Okay, and together we will grow as a family. Your success is my joy, because it will tell me I'm not wasting my time doing all these tutorials. So that's it, guys. God bless you. Happy trading.